Hey guys, welcome back to Beard Bytes, episode 19. It's been a bit. You might be wondering where we were. Well, we didn't really like the state of video games, so we decided to go to Japan and fix it ourselves. So anything that you guys experience in video games that you like, it's because of us, and anything you don't like, it's because they don't listen to us.
What? The dude said he has an intro and then just says, "Oh, hey,
We fixed it.
is this?" I was expecting something like, "Oh, it's been a minute, so something in a time machine." I don't know, man.
Nah. I'm telling them where we were. We're honest with our listeners, you know.
I guess so, man. Yeah, we've been gone for a minute.
Yes, sir. So just a quick overview of what we got covering today, or what we're going to cover. Xbox decided to raise the prices. GTA 6, of course. $80 games is going to be back on the table, and a couple of unions and Death Stranding news is going to be the big ones. So let's get right into it. How about that, huh? How about that? Where? Oh, there it is.
Honestly, this is gonna be an interesting episode to do, because I think we've gotten. I mean, I feel like I got a bit rusty, and then two, I've just been seeing your face for the last 2 weeks. So it's like, I'm like, okay, what do I gotta talk to this guy about?
True.
I've seen him so much.
But we didn't talk about news, you know? That's the biggest thing.
You know what? Yeah. Well, I mean, we kind of did.
That's true. Yeah, we did. But, that doesn't matter.
We hung out. But, the show must go on from a theater perspective, not from a podcast perspective. But we have to keep it going. So I guess maybe, hey, since you got back, what have you been playing?
What have I been playing? So that wasn't a joke, by the way. We were in Japan, and the entire time we were in Japan, we didn't really have access to our machines, obviously. And we were both kind of chilling and looking at each other like, man, I really want to play Expedition 33 and Oblivion. Because it came out while we were overseas, and like the news was like, oh, those are really amazing games and stuff like that. We're like, damn, all right, well, when can we play? So I got back, and those are the two things that I played. I played Oblivion, the remake, and I played Expedition 33. I'll start with Oblivion. I've played about 5 to 6 hours of that, and I'm really liking it in a sense that like it feels nice to go back into a world and play like a Skyrim, or rather, I guess Skyrim essentially, because it was Skyrim before Skyrim. Systems are different. Obviously, I'm sure most people have played the Oblivion Remake or seen footage of it, but I'm enjoying it. I'm glad I didn't spend money for it. I'm playing it on Game Pass, and it's one of those things where I can feel myself playing it because I'm like, oh, I just want to throw away a game. I don't want to spend too much time into something, or like don't really want to focus on what's going on. That's the perfect game for that. It's like Avowed but better, if that makes sense. $50 I think is a very fair price. So like if anyone was an Oblivion fan and was interested in this, I think $50 is a really good price for what this is and how good it looks and feels, you know? But enough about that. The bigger thing that I played was Claire Obscure Expedition 33. You haven't played any of this, right?
I haven't, but I've been wanting to play it since. I just want to say, I called this out in the during the Winter Game Fest or whatever, the Game Awards, when they showed the release for, or not the release, whatever they showed the trailer. Yeah, I was like, I'm excited for this game because like it's very stylized. It has action-based elements in a turn-based game, which I think that's what initially kind of hooked me in from playing like Yakuza 7, when that turned into a turn. So I was like, oh, they kind of maybe took inspirations from there to make it more action. So it looked cool. But yeah, go for it. What do you think about it?
So I was not actually excited about this game. I actually was like, yeah, I don't really care, to be honest. I was not really excited for it. I was like, I'll try it out if it's there. But then reviews came out, like streamers and like reviewers that I like kind of put out their reviews saying, dude, this is a really good game. I'm like, okay, interesting. And then I decided to give it a shot. I bought it and I was like, let me try the first 2 hours, like the Steam refund offers. And oh my God, people have been citing this game as game of the year. I haven't gotten that far into it. I just want to clarify. Let me see how much time I have. I have right now, I have 9.6 hours, which is more than I thought. I'm still in Act 1. I still haven't made too much progress. I've been kind of just exploring, really feeling out the game, redoing some challenges that are not meant to be done at this level, but want to see if I can do it. I cannot. The game is really good. It like you just said, it's like the RPG with action sequences. That is true. Every character's class / ability / rotation of skills that they have is extremely unique, and it's interesting because it seems like each character that you play as is pulled from a different game, mechanics wise. And that's not to say like it's not original what it's doing. It's very original, but I can feel like the notes of the team who made this. They're like, oh dude, you know, it'd be sick if we could do this. Oh, what's the inspiration for that? Oh, maybe this game or that game, you know. A good example I can bring up is one of the characters, Mael. Her whole shtick is that she can rotate between stances, and her stances are such that one of them is offensive. It does 50% more damage, but you take 50% more damage as well. One of them is defense. You have like, you know, extra defense percentage, whatever the case is. And there's like a virtuoso stance, which is like 200% damage, but you take that much more damage as well. But to get into each of those stances, you have to hit certain attacks, certain abilities, to rotate into those. And so it's a matter of like not juggling, but trying to figure out, okay, what's the optimal rotation? What's the exact idea to kind of jump into this flow that I want? And you could focus on, you know, a defense strat, you could focus on an offensive strat. Every character has multiple avenues that you can play them as, and I think they handle it really well so that they do a good job of being like, oh, what do you want to do as a player? Do you want to play the counter build? Do you want to play the dodge build? Do you want to play like full offense build? However you want to do it, they offer plenty of choices and like avenues for you to figure it out. I'm only at the beginning. Like I haven't even stuck my toe into like the bigger parts of the game, so I'm sure it gets way more expansive than this, you know. And writing is also excellent. Like the premise inherently is really interesting. So I am so curious to see where this game goes and what it does, because it's so far really, really interesting.
Yeah, it looks cool. Because I heard the director, like studio director, like when he was interviewed, like was listing off like all the JRPGs that he's played. Like there's a lot of them that I don't even know. So
Yeah.
it looks like they're making a game that they care about, which is obviously you can tell when it's like a what's the term?
Passion project.
Passion project. That's almost the term I was thinking of. Yeah. So
yeah,
it's good to hear that it's good, because I want to jump into it, honestly.
Yeah, it's really interesting, and I think you'll like it. I don't think it doesn't have to take too long if you don't want it to, but exploration is rewarded. And it's not like crazy exploration. It's like pretty well contained world, at least right now. So you know, that is a good part about it. But yeah, there's a lot going on here, and I'm excited to dig more into it, and it's very, very good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
What did you do with your week?
Freaking Assassin's Creed Shadows, man. Honestly, I think I don't know if I said this last time we talked, but I tried to actually refund this.
Oh, really?
Like 6 hours in, but like, so it was like 6 hours like Steam game time, but like 4 hours actual game time. And I was like, you know, what if I just say like, because like Steam's refund policy is like either you can return it within 2 weeks, or if you have under 2 hours of game time.
I think it has to be both. I think both have to be met.
Both? Okay.
Yeah.
So for me, I was like, but like there are stories of people, I think even you.
Yeah, I mean,
they've been able to massage or schmooze your way out of it, and still get a refund after like 4 hours or like 5 hours.
Yeah. Sometimes they're lenient with it.
Yeah. So because the thing is, okay, the game, it just something just didn't feel right. Like the story starts off really good, but then just like it goes super flat in the middle, and then gets really good at the end. And then some of the English voice acting was pretty rough for the non-main characters. And I think the way they handled the main story was like they didn't give you a reason, or they didn't give you like something to kind of like hold the player's hand by in terms of the story, because it'll introduce a bunch of characters and a bunch of side characters and a bunch of context, and then just drop it like it doesn't carry between missions.
Yeah.
So like the premise is there are these like 10 or so people that, I mean, okay, it's not really a spoiler. Like, okay, you're the main, one of the characters' dad dies in the beginning of the game, and so you see like it looks very much like a Quentin Tarantino stylization, where like they play like this like funky music, and they give you this like Horizon pick of the 10 people all wearing masks, and they all have these unique masks, and one's called the Fool, one's called the like, you know, the Fox. So it felt like, oh, this is gonna be very stylized and stuff. But then once you go into each mission, it boils down into like you start this series of missions to kill or assassinate this like one out of 10 people.
Mm-hmm.
And they just throw all these characters and like new clans and new things that like you haven't seen before. So I'm like, okay, who is this person, or who like, what am I doing here? And
like it hasn't earned the anger that you're supposed to feel towards these characters, kind of thing.
Well, I mean, like I in general, I can be angry at, like, it's easy to get angry, like, oh, this person is responsible, but like they try to build more context around each person, but the way they do that is not by using things that was like previously established. They try to throw more new things there to talk about.
Yeah.
So it's like I have to keep context. I'm like, okay, is this a character that I met before? Or like, because like you have the main person that you want to kill, they're masked. Right. And then you start meeting a bunch of side characters, and then in the dialogue they'll mention somebody, and I'm like, I don't remember who this person is. So it's like, so it's a lot of juggling. So it felt like the delay that they did a while back, to me seems like they were focusing on getting the start really good and the end really good. Because the end, like, you see, like, dude, you don't even hear about the Templars up until, like, I kid you not, like the last hour in the game, or like the last like 2 hours in the game. They're like, oh my god, see this guy, he's the Templar, but like they introduced it in a good way. It gave motivation for some of the characters, and like I feel like they, like, the way I talked to you a little bit earlier about this, but the way I would describe it is that, like, you know how some movies they get delayed for doing reshoots, that feels like what happened with the start and the end of this game, where they're like, okay, let's just massage out these two parts and go for it there. I honestly it's hard to recommend this game, honestly, with because with Ghost of Yotei coming out, the thing that really took me out of this game was the stiffness in animation and parkour.
Well, you said it feels just like one of the newer not good Assassin's Creed games, right? Like that's
yeah.
Okay.
Like it had that same parkour, and the issue is that like there's like some terrain that like you can't climb on, but it's not super clear what you can and can't climb on, and like I feel like some of the animations take too much time before you can move again. There's a buttload of trees that like some trees you can walk through and your horse can walk through, some trees you can't. So it gets frustrating when I'm like, okay, I'm a unga bunga caveman when I'm on the sticks, bro. I see a waypoint on my compass, I line up the line exactly to the waypoint, and I'm just going straight, bro. I'm drawing hypotenuses everywhere. Math said it's the fastest way, so that's what I'm doing. So sometimes, okay, this is my fault. This is partially my fault, I'm gonna say. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and it gets frustrating when I'm just running through and I can't. Some trees I can walk through easily, some trees I can't, and it's like, okay, frick it. It got to a point where the whole game, like in the second half of the game, I realized you can mark your waypoint and then auto drive there, or auto use your horse.
Oh god,
I swear,
yeah, that's what you showed me. Yeah, I showed
this how yesterday. So I would just do this and then pop up Drive to Survive on Netflix. And just put that up, and I'm like, all right, I'm just watching this right now. 2 birds, 1 stone. Mm-hmm. Because some of this stuff is like, yo, this like 4 kilometers away. You see, I would have said 4,000, but you see, our brother, he's wiser to the metrics.
Yeah, salam.
Anyways, but yeah, I'm glad to be done. I rolled credits this morning.
Oh,
So,
you did. You hit credits. Okay.
yeah. So I'm trying to figure out like if I should play Blueprints or Clear Obscure because I got like another 2 weeks before I'm out again. So I don't know if it's worth picking up Clear Obscure. Maybe Blueprints will be my
Blueprints
next
you will not finish in 2 weeks. I can tell you right now.
Oh really? I bet.
There's. Okay, go for it. Yeah, if you can do it, but there's just so much to it. So I say that because it's not because you won't be able to figure out the puzzles. It's just the way that the game is built. You're just simply not going to get what you need in the time that you need it, like straight up.
Yeah. It's RNG.
Yeah.
It's a roguelike puzzle game. So
it's very, you're going to get frustrated really quickly, but give it a shot. It's in the Steam library, you might as well. But yeah, I mean, anything else that you played or did or anything like that, or?
Oh, speaking of Drive to Survive, I bought a secondhand wheel.
Yes.
I was playing Assetto Corsa for a little bit, which is like a super sim racing game. It's crazy because like you open up the game and it's like, okay, what pressure do you want your tires to be? And then all 4 tires. How much gas do you want in your car? Do you want like it's like how much tread, how much compound on the tire?
It's a lot.
The PSI, the graph of the I don't know, man. There's so much stuff. It's insane.
We gotta learn it.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I also have a wheel, but I did not buy a wheel. I borrowed one. So I'm gonna give it a shot and see how I like it. If I really enjoy it, then maybe this will be a thing that I kind of jump into. But I don't know. It's not that I'm not enjoying it. It's just a matter of, is it hitting enough for me to pull out the wheel every time I want to do it? Answer is, at this point in time,
we haven't really done it with friends either.
That's true.
So
that might change it.
Like, have you done a practice? Like, have you done an actual race or just like the practice laps?
The practice. So that's also part of it. I haven't actually fully experienced it.
Yeah. Like, dude, I was playing in. I tried it with VR and I did a full lap, like a full race, bro. I was scared because I'm like, dude, I can see someone in my rear view. I'm like, I have to defend.
Get the blue shell, red shell, throw it at him.
Yeah, honestly, bro, I like.
Okay.
Dude, no, it was crazy because like I bumped into somebody and then like I lost my wing and then like I'm driving and like the car is like constantly veering right and I have to like counter steer.
Did you throw up yet?
It was interesting. Oh, dude, I have relatively good like VR
sense,
like whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Vibes,
yeah.
Like I don't throw up that heavy, right? Or I don't get motion sick. But yo, this one was honestly, I was like on the second lap, I was like, this is crazy. I could only do like 3 laps, and I'm like, all right, man, I gotta take a break.
Oof. Well.
Yeah.
Well, I will never try that because I know I for sure will throw up. So.
Hey man, you never know if you don't try, man.
I do know. I know for sure.
Yeah. But you know what's crazy? You know what actually makes me want to throw up?
What makes you want to throw up?
Xbox basically upped their prices for everything. The Xbox that nobody plays now costs $100 more.
Yes.
And the games now are gonna cost $80, man.
Yes. So Xbox has an announcement on May 1st. They basically said that they will be raising prices on Xbox consoles, controllers, headsets, and some games. Price hike for consoles and accessories kicks in that day, while game prices will stay the same for now, but they'll be charging $79.99 for new first-party games around the holiday season. Price changes are taking effect globally, with the exception of headset prices, which are only going up in US and Canada.
You know, when you said they announced it May 1st, I was like, bro, they should have did it a month earlier. I'm like, April Fools, maybe not.
Yeah.
No, but it's
is this your king? Is this your king, Phil Spencer?
Look, bro, Sony's gonna do it, but they have to do it though. It's like
Sony is doing it. Like it's confirmed. I'm pretty sure.
They did it. You know what's crazy? Sony did it outside the US a couple of years ago, actually. It went up by like $30. Let me PS5 price increase. I think this would happen before, but like the US didn't get impacted of this.
No, yeah, it's happened in Canada. Canada pays already like essentially like a third more than US pays already. So it's like we're kind of catching up to them. At the same time, though, Canada's prices are also going more up. It's not like it's just us. You know what I'm saying? Like everything is going up. So
Yeah, so I think the PlayStation it went up $50 in Canada and in other regions, right, in the UK. But this is without like the US tariffs, right? This is excluding like this. So like in 2021 or 2022, Sony was like, oh, we're gonna increase by $50, which that one seemed more random than what Microsoft is. At least Microsoft is like, hey, listen, bro, the tariff situation like is twisting us. This is what we have to do. But like $100 on the Series X is kind of crazy. Like that's not even, is that even 30%, bro? Actually, let me hit the math real quick. Okay. Oh, actually, okay, maybe it's not that bad.
how much is it?
So if they did the Series X, right, is $600.
Yeah.
Right, or I guess a 2 terabyte version is $600. If they just did a flat 30% increase, that would have been $780. So let's run the numbers down real quick. So it's basically like a 17% increase. It's like, okay, I mean, like I'm not trying to defend it.
Yeah, but that's still a lot, dude. Like
it is a lot for sure.
Like we'll get more into it as we go down the stories, because there's some stuff that I have written down. But I think that, okay, I think this is a stupid move. Like, I'll be honest, I understand that they're trying to cash in on this whatever like $80 craze, but people are already not buying the Xbox. So
yeah,
like the idea that they're like, oh, what if we just do more, you know, like that's,
yeah, it's like I from a hardware perspective, I think it's a defensive stance, but from a software perspective, I think it's just a general trend. But because also the thing is this, right? Like Microsoft is now moving more into a publisher space, right? Like I think they're trying to get more money off the games that they make and the games that they own. So I think $80, honestly, I think like since 2020 there have been discussions about like game prices need to go up, right?
I'll be honest, man, I've had a recent revelation. I'm actually very much against this whole idea of $80 games going up, because it's like it's more expensive to make games. I'll be real, I don't think that I don't think it's like a valid argument anymore, to be honest.
So I'm like, I think there's a level of nuance that needs to be had here, because I think if you're talking about traditional game structure, the way games are being made today, like the trend, right? Of you have big studios, support studios, and all this stuff. You license music, you get high fidelity, all the stuff. To continue making that, you are going to need. It's going to require a price increase, in my opinion. Because like if you're gonna go on like what is gonna be considered the cutting edge and getting all this stuff, like getting the best writers, getting the best all this stuff, like you're building like a super team. Like it's like saying like, oh, the Lakers don't deserve to have a budget of XYZ, and it's like, but like if they're gonna get off, I mean, okay, granted, I think 25 Lakers might not be the best team, but like I'm just trying to give an example, right? I like if you're saying like the best, I don't know.
I'm gonna disagree with you
team.
Because the main reason, one of the big reasons I'm disagreeing with you, and we can get more into it later, but Claire Obscure being touted as the game of the year this year, right? Easily, I can see it. People are saying it. I played it. It feels good. Like I understand where it's coming from. $50. Entire team of double A devs.
Yeah, it's like a 30-person team.
30-person team, and the team is comprised of this, like the guy. So the lead writer for this game was actually applied to be a voice actor who applied like through Reddit or whatever, and she got chummy with like the team, and they were like, "Yo, you got some good ideas. You want to be the writer?" Boom, she's a lead writer, the lead musician for the game from Reddit. Like, I'm just saying, the idea. Oh, I guess we can get into it now, but the idea of $80 games, I think, is ludicrous, because what's going to happen, right? I understand. Listen, I understand what you're saying. Like, I'm not trying to say that what you're saying is wrong. I understand that it's expensive to make games, and I understand that like costs have been going up and all that stuff. However, I think we can say all that, but what matters at the end of the day, right? What's the very main point is that as a consumer, I look at that an $80 game and I say, how about you go? How about no? You know, how about no thanks, right? To a point where it results in less sales for the companies who are trying to compensate for a more expensive dev cycle and more expensive way to make games. You know,
Yeah.
I think we're at a point in the industry, and this is a point that I'll bring up here, but it's one of those things where do people have time to play? Not time. Do people have the money to play $80 games? You know, is that something that exists at this point in time anymore? Because I'll be honest, I don't think so. I think people are going to see that and be like, how about no thanks, you know? And
Yeah.
it's going to lead to gaming companies like Xbox saying, oh, like, let's take Doom Eternal, right? Let's say they take Doom Eternal and they say, hey, it's $80 now. Guaranteed, like, that's going to lose them so many sales, because $80 is a lot, man. That's like a huge jump for a lot of people. And so it doesn't matter how much value's in the game. It doesn't matter how much they're getting. Same argument with Mario. Oh, Mario Kart, perfect example. Doesn't matter how much value's in the game. Doesn't matter what you're getting in a game. Doesn't matter what exactly is coming through. Like, it doesn't matter what Nintendo tells me. $80 for a Mario Kart game or any game is like, I don't care. I'm not spending it, you know? And I guarantee more people are also feeling that same way.
Yeah, I will say, like, I'm gonna like retract a little bit, like, or not. I mean, I'm gonna. Anyways, because I think you're seeing a lot of like emerging new like ways of development, right? Like, I think AA's are becoming more and more. I don't want to say efficient, but the quality of AA games has gone up significantly, right? I think,
Yeah.
like, for example, like Clear Obscure is crazy. Super Giant is like, is seen as like a really good, like, I mean, I don't know if you call it AA or
Yeah,
indie,
I mean,
but
I
like,
would say so. Yeah.
but
But
it's
yeah,
still
go
like, what I'm trying to say is that like you have to understand like the roller coaster ride or the train tracks that where like AAA development is going, right? The term AAA is not a one-to-one relation of quality.
Correct.
The term itself was originally used to denote how much money is being put into a project, right? So it's not saying, oh, AAA is better. It's like, no, the cost is going up too much. That's why the joke was, that's why Ubisoft, when Skull and Bones came out, there was like, oh, this is basically a quadruple A game, but
Yeah.
they weren't saying from a product from how good it is. They're just saying we just poured so much money into it, right? So I think if you're gonna look at what AAA is, like that roller coaster ride, like that plus like the inflation argument, because the thing is, dude, we've had like, there are newspaper ads about like Sonic being like $100 on the Sega Genesis, right? You know, so I think like there's a lot of things happening here, and I think this is just the first like us kind of looking at it. But I in general though, like, that's like contextualizing it, because like there might be a point where like the bleeding edge of video games is going to be at a different price point than what you can get at like a $50 or $60 price point, right? Because I think the things moving forward is like maybe developers might be like, you know what, maybe I don't want to, maybe we shouldn't use Unreal Engine 6. I mean, in the future, maybe we just use Unreal Engine 5 and just make a game out of that, right? You don't, like, as long as there's something good to tell and ideas for gameplays, for games to be had and things like that, then I think that makes it much easier to make games where people are more passionate about, and like, and that's what we're seeing with like Clear Obscure, right?
And I think or sorry, go ahead, finish your point. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I think more or less I'm in the same bucket with you. It's just, I think there's like, I am not in support of it, but with the way things have moved, there is going to be place for a game to cost $80. Is a game worth it to be that way? Like, is it does, like, the next Assassin's Creed, would I pay $80 for the next Assassin's Creed? No. Would I pay $80 to play GTA? As much as a Rockstar hater, I'm like, they do a lot of stuff. So like, given the way trends have moved, inflation plus the cost of development, and like even before all of this, there was a discussion for games to go up. Like, so why am I saying this? Is that there's things that predate this whole price hike that people were saying, hey, like the support line is gonna break. We like studios need to get more money. That's why prices went up. Those two things will, I think, set a new target for where things. So I think that number is gonna exist, or that category is gonna exist of games. Who deserves to be in there is a separate question, right?
Yeah.
That's the only thing I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and we've talked about how some games will come out and be like, hey, we're $80 too, and people are like, what are you doing over here? You know, like you're not him, you know.
Which honestly, Nintendo coming out is crazy, dude. Mario Kart, bro. Like if they made Breath of the Wild 3 or whatever, right? The new Zelda at that same quality and said it was $80. Okay,
man, I'm gonna be honest
Mario
though.
Kart.
Still, Mario
Kart, bro. Okay, fair.
No. I mean, I get what you're saying. My argument is not that certain games can be in that category. My argument is that category does not deserve to exist, right? It's not that, in my opinion, I don't think it's that game development has gotten more expensive. It has gotten more expensive in a sense that like the way that these studios are run has become more expensive, and the way that some decisions get made, it becomes more expensive, right? The idea that like a game, and the Claire Obscure devs talked about this, where he's like, hey, like if I was still at Ubisoft, this game would have taken 25 years to make, right? Because in these big studios, in these big industries areas, these games aren't necessarily made with passion. They're made with like, maybe some, right? But generally speaking, it's one of those things where it's like, hey, pump out the next Call of Duty, pump out the next like Warzone update. And these games are being made to make money. And so obviously, right, I'm not saying games shouldn't make money, but like I think that the limit for games is going to be $60 to $70. And I think any more than that, I think it's gonna really hurt studios. Like I think that we're seeing, and I heard this from a different podcast, and I thought it was a really interesting point, and I wanted to ask you this question. This first part's my point. I think the games being $80 and things like that, and all these massive layoffs and things like that, is leading to more AA studios being created and creating these amazing games, because they're like, all right, well, we still have ideas. Why not try to execute it? We can get a good team together and go from there, right? So then the question becomes, $80 games. Rockstar is going to start selling $80. Let's say GTA 6 $100. Let's say like, whatever. The question becomes like, well, I'm not spending $80 on a game. What now? Okay, well, they're trying to recoup costs from development because it's more expensive, which is, again, fair point that I understand where that's coming from. They're not going to make as much money. Like, I'm going to be honest with you. I think GTA is the one exception, but I think other studios that are trying to sell their game for $80, I don't think that, like, let's say Fallout 5. I don't think Fallout 5 is going to sell for $80 in the sense that, like, yeah, there's going to be quite a few, like, fans that are like, hell yeah, but majority of game companies make a lot of their money off of like the person who's like, oh, like I'd like to pick that up, I'd like to try it out. Casuals make up a big significant part of the audience. And why in any space would a casual or anybody who's like looking just to spend a few hours playing the game every day after work, they're not going to spend $80 on the game, because it's like, yeah, that's too much, I can't justify it, resulting in lower sales, resulting in the idea that like the end problem is not being solved. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
And
it's, I think like in a way, like I think it's probably what you were hinting at, is that like we are gonna see like a renaissance of AA, right? Or
yes,
that like it's gonna be a golden age where like all these devs can kind of like work together in a much more faster, efficient way and get things done, right? So I think that's like much more than what we saw with the initial boom of indies, because now like Unreal is free, I think. Same with Unity, and you get like
there's definitely more tools available now than before.
Yeah, so you can see a lot more experiences that aren't just like your 2D indie games like whatever that we had in that like Super Meat Boy, Castle Crashers, like that was the vibe when you talked about indie games back then. Right now, you can get like some games that like photorealistic and all that stuff, right? So I think that the renaissance of AA is definitely going to be coming. I think bigger studios need to and publishers need to. I mean, not necessarily publishers, but bigger studios need to be kind of tapped in for how they can make games more efficiently, right? I think there was an article talking about Remedy. They said the what is it called? The budget for Control 2 is going to be much smaller than Alan Wake 2, right? Where they're like, oh, we learned some things. This is how we're going to make development much quicker instead and longer. Possibly might not need as many heads to do it, but it's one of those things where I think if companies continue with the same structure, then they have, like, for them, they see the only way to do this, to continue making games, is increasing pricing, right? And then you said casuals make a huge portion of this, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see a lot of like satellite umbrella like teams getting broken down and trying to work things and things, right? Because like I think ultimately that's what needs to happen, but they're like, in the bigger companies there's a lot of bureaucracy. I think that's, if you want to compare it to like a startup situation versus an actual company, it's like I think that's where things go, like the flexibility is
and I mean, I think that's where it has to go, because I think and this is a question I posed to you, do you think that we're in like a video game like downturn right now because of everything that's going on, massive layoffs, massive studio closures, acquisitions, like, you know what I'm saying, like all these other smaller companies springing up, which is good. The smaller companies springing up and making things like Clear Obscure is fantastic, you know, like that's always something that should be celebrated and amazing to see. But yeah, I don't know, what do you think? Because like these layoffs is insane. Like Clear Obscure and things like that are born out of these layoffs, these workers looking for something to put their time into, you know?
I would say probably we'll see something. It's crazy because 2025 is such a banger year, right? Of games coming out. Like there's a lot of like Split Fiction came out. Like honestly, okay, you could see like the top 3 contenders for game of the year, or like the highest reviewed games, are Clear Obscure, Blueprints, and Split Fiction, right? It's like, and then now, I mean, granted, Doom is a bigger game, but like that's also in the mix. So it's weird to see that there is going to be like some downturn, and like people get like getting laid off and stuff. But I probably hopefully people can get back on their feet and like work on other on some of these other projects, or possibly that like some of these larger studios again can think about the content strategy better. Right? Because I think that's the biggest weakness, right? Like the Titanic is too big to turn sometimes. So but I'm also curious now with like, you know, because obviously things are gonna take time. Like we're gonna be in this kind of pit for like the next like 3-4 years, I think, right? Before.
Oh, you think so? I think it'll crash way quicker than that.
So let me rephrase. Like I think we're gonna see like $80 games in the horizon, and I don't think like the flood of AA is gonna take a while, is my guess, right? Because like the assumption is a lot of developers and artists are gonna make AA games, and then a lot of bigger studios are gonna focus on like crafted experiences that are AA, right? Instead of making these AAA games. I would think that's gonna take like about 4 years. So until then, I think everything that comes out, we're gonna be seeing the same thing. But what makes me curious is if Game Pass is gonna get more prevalent now, right? Like if someone says, well, damn, I still need Xbox Live, but I don't want to keep buying these games. Let me just get Game Pass.
Dude, do you think Game Pass will get more expensive?
Oh, it has to be, man, dude. If I think like we saw one price hike at when Starfield came out. We
did, yes.
Microsoft already bumped up the price of their games. Like, what's gonna stop them from bumping the price of their service? You know, which I mean, I conceptually I like the concept of Game Pass, right? I think, granted, I think I paid for 3 years for $180. So to me, that was like the best bang in my buck ever, right? Can I get that again? Probably not. No. And so like I think a year of Game Pass now. Let's see, Game Pass cost It is so Ultimate is $20 a month. So that's $240 a year. Or if you just get the PC version, that's like 140. Yeah.
That's like
One-
one game.
Yeah, honestly, bro. You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy? Back in the day, they'd be like, if you play 3 games on Game Pass a year, you'd be good. Like now you have to, now you have to 240. That's how many games, man?
Yeah.
That's 4 games.
Just about.
Yeah. Actually, no, wait, no. That's. No, you have to play 3 games again because the price of games has gone up to 80. So 80 times 3 is 240. So. I think that's the yardstick that they're doing, right? With how expensive to make games. Loki though, I think Game Pass might be the move, and my subscriptions might be the thing moving forward. I'm not sure, but
it's fair. Okay. I see that. Yeah, we just knocked out like 2 stories or 3 stories that I had on here, so that makes it easier for me to time code it. Speaking of time, you know what's crazy? You know who has all the time in the world? GTA 6, son. Have you saw the news?
Everybody saw the news, man. We're reading the same news docket.
Did you cry when you saw the news?
Oh, dude. Not really. I think it's better because I really want games, the games of this year to actually get recognition. Because dude, 2018, I was such a hate watcher. I was so happy that God of War won over Red Dead for Game of the Year. I don't care, man.
I mean,
I have a vendetta. I have a vendetta against Rockstar.
Yep. Fair. So, context: Grand Theft Auto 6 is now coming out May 26, 2026. So it's a delay of about a year and some months, or I guess a year essentially. And essentially, what's happening is that they just said, "Hey, gotta delay it." And more information has come out from Jason Schreier, where he kind of said, let me pull it up here. He said that nobody I talked to at Rockstar has believed the fall 2025 was a real window for a very long time now. Too much work, not enough time, and what appears to be a real desire for management to avoid brutal crunch. GTA 6 slipping to 2026 has seemed inevitable for months, if not longer. They also said, and he also reports that skepticism is always healthy in terms of someone saying, I don't buy for a second that Rockstar is trying to avoid crunch. But I've been keeping tabs on this for years since my big 2018 story about Red Dead 2's crunch. They certainly haven't eliminated all the overtime, but everyone I've talked to at Rockstar says it's night and day from previous projects. If that changes, I'll report on it. I think that's awesome, honestly. I think if that's the reason it's being delayed, that's a really good reason for delay, and I think that's completely okay.
Yeah. I mean, like if the writing was on the wall that they weren't gonna make it, it's much better to kind of just, like read the room and do the right thing. Because I don't know, man. There's been a lot of stuff where people just get dunked on and then release half-baked games that get fixed later.
Yep.
And it's not their fault, right? And I think it's just like I guess it's a good thing that they didn't overcommit, right? Like, because had they written a date in stone and then scrubbed it away, I mean, you can't scrub something when you etch it in stone. What the hell am I saying?
Well, you could if you use hard enough sandpaper.
Anyways, like it's a good thing that they said, 2025, and then they said, actually, hey, I'm gonna be real with you. Here's a hard date. Because imagine I think once you print a date, the marketing, like you have to spend so much time on marketing, right? I think I don't know if it was Destiny or GTA 5 that said that they spent $500,000 just on marketing.
Yep.
So that's such a big thing.
Yup.
So for them to just get it, just to kind of be like, hey guys, this isn't it, and then move forward is good. So.
I think it'd be neat. I think it's funny that like they announced it for next year, hard date and everything. and you could just tell that game studios that were trying to release games this year and all that stuff kind of just breathed a sigh of relief, like, all right, we can just drop it this year and not worry about it. But then at the same time, you also heard game studios that were like, we need to push our game to next year when GTA 6 is coming out, or to this year, next year, so that GTA 6 doesn't hit it. Now they're like, God damn it, and they're like, so the fun balance between the two. But yeah, I mean, a year longer is it's to be expected. I think it gives more people time to get a PS5 and Xbox One.
Well, it's been 5 years, but fair. I'm not gonna judge. Look, I think the situation with this just kind of hit me. With the situation with game developers releasing dates is like the Squidward or Patrick, move it here. When they're moving the city against the bull.
Why don't we just take the Bikini Bottom and move it over there? Yeah.
Push.
And then the thing just falls on it. Oh, yeah. I agree with that. I don't know. I mean, you know, it'd be crazy if they dropped it and they said, hey, you know what? $60. Could you imagine?
Ooh. Dude, here's the thing. The thing is, they're gonna make gangbusters regardless, bro. They're gonna make more. They're gonna break their initial record of $1 billion in 3 days.
Correct.
I know that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It just depends how much they wanna dunk on people, because like, dude, like the people that, like, I remember back in high school. Damn. The people that I didn't even know played games were playing GTA. So, you know, it's so everybody's gonna be on it.
Yep, I agree. But, you know, I don't know what's gonna happen. We shall see. Just like we're seeing how crazy good these Forza Horizon 5 numbers are. Have you seen this story?
I have not, actually. Let's see.
Okay. So, Forza Horizon 5 player count has risen to 46.1 million players as of May 2nd.
Damn.
Yeah. The game surpassed 45 million players on April 15th. Forza Horizon 5 was released on PlayStation 5 on April 29th, and it was an early access on April 25th. This could, and again, very big could, indicate about 1 million units sold on PS5 in about 1 week, which is like, I mean, that's awesome. You know, that's like a really good amount. I know a big significant amount of these players are Game Pass players, so I don't know if they're like counting those as units sold or whatever, but regardless, this is pretty good numbers on PS5. You know, I think it further shows that, like, yeah, why not put certain games on PS5, if not all of them, because you're gonna make, you know, gangbusters and all that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, because it's crazy that they got this number with just PC and Xbox beforehand, because I think
that is true.
I was saying last year in July it was like 40 million. So presumably, it just means like a bunch of other people were getting on, and then around 1 million people got it on PlayStation. So I mean, that's good. Yes. So I mean I think that bodes well for the other games that they're wanting to release, I guess.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, just like Xbox is trying to release a new game coming out soon.
Is it really new?
You are correct. It is not new.
I think it's just a remaster.
Fair. It is Gears of War Reloaded.
Dude, you know what's crazy? That actually, no, I was gonna. Sorry, I ruined the flow of that. I was just reading it. I was like, Gears of War has the same letters of God of War. If somebody says GOW, what are they referring to?
It's a good point. It's a good question.
Yeah. Anyways, but
yeah. So, what's up? Go for it.
You go for it. I don't know anything about this game.
Oh,
actually, no. Okay, I do. Like, I think the remaster, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's remastering the trilogy and adding the multiplayer. I don't remember when it's releasing because the tweet is deleted.
Oh, is it? It's pulling up for me. Gears of War Reloaded details remastered from the ground up. It includes multiplayer, 2-player campaign co-op, up to 4K 120 FPS, crossplay and cross progression across all platforms. So this is actually really cool. Xbox fans who own the digital version of Gears of War Ultimate Edition receive a free upgrade to Gears of War Reloaded, launching August 26th on PS5, Xbox, and PC for $40, and is available on Game Pass Ultimate Day 1. That's dope. I mean, why not?
That's crazy, bro. Go run to your local GameStop and just buy old copy then.
Yeah, I think it's priced like at 40 anyways, but regardless, I think that's pretty cool. And I have Game Pass, and I've never played these games before, so I might try it out. But yeah. I
mean, apparently this was like the pinnacle of online multiplayer back in the day. So it's
no Last of Us.
Man, get the frick out of here. No, we'll see.
Yeah, I think that's kind of cool. How about this? We'll do more Xbox news first before we jump into this next story here. The next thing from Xbox is that there is a new handheld, or rather not a new handheld. We've talked about this, that they're working on something. The images for the handheld have leaked, and it turns out that, let me pull up this tweet here. Project Kennen has been leaked. The device is a collaboration between Microsoft and Asus. There is a picture on this tweet, which we'll put in the comments, or not in the comments, in the description. So if you listen to the podcast, you can check it there, or on YouTube, it's in the description. And yeah, I mean, it looks like a ROG Ally, but I'm actually not a fan of how this little controller holder thing looks, to be honest.
Yeah, it looks weird, and it's all white. I think it's like too curvy. Like, I don't know. Actually, I'm holding up my controller in reference to the picture. Mm-hmm. It's not as angled. The hand grips.
Yeah.
And there's like a weird like pocket between the hard edge of like the natural controller versus like this like or hard edge of the natural ROG Ally versus like this curve of the controller.
Yeah.
It would be interesting to see how it holds. Something that's really like killing me right now is in the leaked picture. It looks official because it's on this like white background.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Somebody's house. And so the front of the screen has so much fingerprints, and it's just like, dude, you couldn't just wipe it before you took a picture.
Yeah. Well, you know.
But I mean,
they're probably in a rush.
Yeah. Basing it off the ROG Ally, I think is good.
Yeah. I think it's
I don't
cool.
We'll have to see how it goes, like in terms of specs and stuff. Because if they're just running the same thing with just Windows, it'd be kind of lame. I want to see something unique. If it's running like a specific,
like an Xbox
down version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I would purchase this personally. I would think I would, if I do get a different handheld besides the Steam Deck, I think I would purchase the ROG Ally simply because I want to use my Steam games on my handheld, and that's kind of it. Because it's just one of those things for me, like for Game Pass, like I was playing a game on Game Pass, I can't remember which one it was, and all of a sudden the game is just gone. I'm like, where is it? And they said, oh, I left Game Pass like yesterday. I'm like, why? Like, that concept is just really like frustrating to me, you know? So having that on a mobile device, that like, I feel like that would be incredibly annoying. Yes, of course I could purchase the games on the Xbox like ecosystem, but like realistically, like why not just do it on Steam, which I have everything already? So
yeah, there was that UI mock-up a while back that said
yes, there was
that's trying to combine like Steam and Xbox games in one place. So maybe they're getting ready to merge them.
Yeah, I mean, Summer Games Fest is coming up, so they might announce it there.
Yeah.
But we have to wait and see. We're not there yet. I think it's happening in June or July. I'm not sure, but yeah, and so. That leads us into our next story here. I don't know if you remember, a couple weeks ago, we talked about the Bungie lawsuit. Do you remember this? How Bungie was getting sued because it's being alleged that like they stole from like an online, essentially like story writer. I don't know if fanfic is the right word, but he basically wrote like a bunch of stuff. And the main faction in his story, the main enemy faction is like the Red Legion or something. And the big thing is that in Destiny, or it's not called the Red Legion in his story, but it's like the Red Legion in Destiny 2. And so this guy is basically saying, hey, you stole that from my writing, that concept and everything like that. Where we last left the story is that because Destiny has vaulted all of their content, they needed to reference a YouTuber's like 8-hour video about all the Destiny lore, because they did not have, for some reason, they don't have files. They can't showcase that, hey, no, this is in our game, this is how it's different, because it's vaulted, it's gone. You know, like the original Destiny product that I purchased back in whenever it came out is not, I can't access any of that content anymore, even though I paid for it and all that stuff, and obviously many other players too.
Dude, that's so crazy.
Yeah, it's just gone straight up.
Yeah. Because I was thinking, like, even if you just go buy the disc, like, you can't even go back and get that content.
Nope, it is absolutely just completely gone. So the update to that story is that essentially the judge who's presiding over this case, the judge was like, dog, no, this is not acceptable evidence to the court, to this case. And he said, you cannot use this 8-hour video, which, to be fair, yeah, like I'm not saying like the judge should go lenient on it. I think he made the right decision that, like, no, like, you need to showcase your own stuff, and not even talking about legal stuff. Like, I'm obviously not versed in that. I just think it's hilarious that they're like shit out of luck, essentially, and they need to figure out something else because of their own decisions, you know? But
yeah, I don't know, man. This is it's just weird because like, so, like, sorry, I zoned out for a second. So did the judge, like, did this lawsuit get ruled out or thrown out?
It's still in play. It's still happening, but that specific piece of evidence is not working anymore. Like, they're like, yeah, the judge is like, no, you cannot use this as evidence.
Like, I'm curious then, because then can't they just hit him with the Uno reverse card of like, well, Your Honor, produce the evidence where they can that he says I stole it, because you're saying
it doesn't exist.
Yeah, like, Your Honor, that's what you're saying, right? Like, yeah.
They took it down fully. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah,
I feel like that. Okay, I'll be honest. I was joking. I feel like that has to stand then, right? Because I was like, here's something that someone can clearly point out in the video, right? Because then this guy would have had to cross-reference it somewhere, right?
That's true. Where did he get the evidence from?
Yeah. He was roommates with a ex Bungie writer, right? This is what I don't know. I'm just building fake lore right now. Anyways, speaking of more fake things, I'm very bad at layups at the moment.
I zoned out. That was my turn to zone.
No, you're good. Yeah.
Speaking of fake things, EA says they have no plans to start charging $80 for games. This comes from Culture Crave on Twitter. I tried to find an article for this, but I couldn't necessarily find anything. So, but I mean, maybe, I don't know, that could happen, but I doubt it. What do you think?
I don't know. I hope that they look at Hazelight and realize that they can just do. Hazelight is the most anti-EA game, but it's like, it's going gangbusters, man, because it's $40 a game. Only one guy has to buy the copy, and then you can share an invite with a friend so that they can play with you.
Yep, that's true.
So technically speaking, if this was a traditional game, it should have been, they should make double sales, but for their perspective, they made half sales, you know? Because between me and you, I just have to buy one copy, and then, hey man, let's just invite.
That's true. That's money they could have got. You took money from the poor company. How does it feel?
Exactly.
You're dirty.
Exactly. You know, corporations are people too. Technically, that's not even. I'm not even joking. But anyway.
Yes.
From the U.S. law perspective.
Technically true.
But I don't know. I mean, maybe they might ride the trend, but I also don't know what other games EA is coming out with except for Battlefield at the moment.
I think they're in development with the new Star Wars game. They're not making a Titanfall game, that's for sure. That was canceled. Oh, we didn't talk about that actually.
We did talk about it last week, no?
We did,
Or
but we didn't
last
talk about it
time.
on the podcast.
Oh.
Talking about the extraction
Okay.
shooter. Yeah, I guess we'll just lump this in here. But EA has laid off a big team at a lot of teams at Respawn, a lot of people at Respawn rather, and then they canceled a upcoming Titanfall game or a Titanfall game in development. To be fair, it was an extraction shooter, so I don't know if that's something that I wanted, but we're never getting Titanfall 3. That's all it is, and that's all I have to say about it, you know?
Yeah. It's interesting because technically speaking, right? So this game was made as an extraction shooter, or it was conceived as an extraction shooter.
Mm-hmm.
Marathon by Bungie. Bungie. Oh my
Bungie.
god. So I was trying to say Destiny and Bungie. From Bungie is also
Mhm.
an extraction shooter. Arc Raiders is also an extraction shooter.
Yep.
So there was this thing where it's like people talk about how like if there's like a lightning in a bottle moment, people will dig down and then be silent for 3 years, and then the 3 years later they come back and they try to make the same thing. So I think like Tarkov was like super big like 2-3 years ago.
Yep.
I mean, I guess maybe 3 years ago. And so then I think a lot of companies were like, oh,
I mean,
how
it's
do we
still
do
big
this?
now, but.
But I feel like it was like insanely popping out. Like
Yeah,
I feel like
I
I
get
would
what
go
you're
on Twitch, my brother would be playing it, my friends would be playing it, and like so I think that's like it's a lot of trend stuff, which is interesting. I don't know, man. Maybe Vince Zampella needs to shake it up. He needs to do something.
Yeah, maybe, but you know, it's one of those things where I don't know, man. We'll figure it out, I guess. You know who has figured it out though?
The man himself.
The man himself, Kojumbo. Bro, okay. I know I said I'm not gonna pay $80 for games, but no, I'm just kidding. I'm just messing. But so there's been some previews going out for Death Stranding. One of them being Skill Up, who is a very great reviewer and gaming content creator, and he basically kind of put out his thoughts on Death Stranding 2 initially from the preview he got, and he said the following: it has better story pacing, better visuals, better combat, better stealth, more flexibility in the sandbox, more diversity in mission design, more ways to customize your experience, more vegetation. You can save animals, an MP3 player, day and night cycle, which will affect gameplay, a skill tree, 2 graphics modes, 60 FPS on base PS5, and everyone who played it, he was saying at the preview event, loved it. Dope.
Yeah, dude.
You know.
I saw a lot of like I played 30 hours of Death Stranding 2, and I was like, all right, I am not watching this.
Yeah.
Because I think part of the game is just going in just like, oh, what the, like I don't know, because the Kojima games are just very, what the hell.
That's a good point. I actually do have it on my watch later's videos, but now that you said that, I actually don't want to watch it. But at the same time, unfortunately, it's not going to come for PC for like.
Just get it on PlayStation, bro. The tweet literally says 60 FPS. What more do you want?
I want it to look better. I want it to look good, man. Like I'm
Dude,
not
what
saying,
if I told you it's going to look the best it can possibly ever look like?
We know that's
Because it can't run anywhere else. It only runs on PlayStation. All right,
true.
guys, welcome back. Just go
True.
get it, man.
True.
If it makes you feel better, I was about to copium tell myself to go get PS5 Pro.
Oh my god!
Right?
Don't do
The
that.
PlayStation that I literally only turned on to play Astrobot and freaking Split Fiction. That prior to that, last thing I played on it was what? I don't even remember.
I actually bought the Nathan Drake collection to play that because I haven't played it before.
Oh, the Uncharted 2 is great.
Yeah. So.
But my thought process was like, okay, I can get like maybe like 300 for it, and then before PlayStation or Sony hikes up the price, I could go get the PlayStation 5 Pro. But then I don't play games that much. But then at the same time, if I get Death Stranding, and then I get Ghost of Yote, and then GTA 6 when that comes out.
Yeah.
Like I would get the best experience moving forward. But then it's like, do I want to pay $300 to play 3 games at the best fidelity? I don't know. I'm also, dude, I'm very susceptible. I thank God I don't gamble, because So the way I just make stuff up, I just convince myself to do stuff is insane.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. But man, I really want this game to come out soon. I'm so excited. When does it come out?
It comes out in June.
Oh, that's quick.
June
Okay.
20th.
That's not too bad. That's pretty quick.
Death Stranding 2.
He also said, Kojima also said that, like, oh, I have an idea for Death Stranding 3, like, conceptually, but someone else will have to make it. So I think we're going to get a good conclusion to the story here. Yeah, I am excited. I am very excited to see this.
I will say most of Kojima games always, they don't end on a cliffhanger. Or they end, like, pretty self-contained.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, Death Stranding 1 did end in a good like way, but, like, for example, if it's one of those things where it's like, okay, I finished 1 and I know there's a 2, I'm like, okay, now I have to, like, continue. I want to see what happens, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, and then just like we're seeing what's happening behind the scenes at Arc System Works. Did you hear about this?
I did not hear about this.
Okay, so Arcsys, the makers of Guilty Gear Strive and the Guilty Gear series, have had a massive source code leak. Essentially, a hacker got into their source code to Guilty Gear Strive and a bunch of other files and kind of just put them out on the internet. And they've essentially shown off, like, the move list for the rest of the Season 4 characters that are coming out. And they've just given out the full list for the Season 5 characters. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have much to say about it because I haven't played Guilty Gear Strive in a bit, but I think it sucks that people's kind of hard work just kind of got taken out from under them and shown off. So
yeah, I'm surprised that this didn't get ransomed. Like, I'm not saying it should have gone ransomed, but, like, the hack with Insomniac, right? That one, they were like, hey, pay us $10 million.
Yeah,
and then it's like, no, and then they're like, okay, here's, guys, you're supposed to have a Spider-Man multiplayer game, and then, like, you know, or that was interesting. I mean, not in a good way, but
it was like an interesting scenario.
Yeah. Where this one is just like, it sounds like this one is just the guy just threw it up on the internet.
Yep.
I guess, but
yeah.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the procedure is at this point, because the thing is now, what it is, the reason this is such a big deal is because you can just straight up play this game on Unreal Engine editor. Like, if you have it downloaded, you can just download the source code and just do it. So yeah, I feel like that's like the bigger deal here, but, you know, I guess we'll Arcsys hasn't said anything yet according to this article, so we'll see, I guess. But, you know, that is life. That is unfortunate. The world will move on eventually. You know who won't move on? Overwatch 2, baby. They're gonna be stuck here for a while because now Overwatch 2 team has unionized. Nearly 200 developers across art, QA, engineering, and design have joined the CWA. The key reasons include pay gaps, remote work limits, and a push for clear protections around crunch, time off, and severance in case of future layoffs. Dope.
Well, you made it sound like they were about to get, Overwatch was about to be done.
Oh, sorry. No. No, it is not. But this is a good idea. This is great. I mean, unions are good, and I think that them, the union has, you know, it should, it should be strong, and hopefully the union members get everything that they're arguing for.
Yep. It's good to get people protected.
Yes, sir. I do know that this is a massive freak out for Blizzard. They don't like unions. They've shut down studios because they threatened to unionize. So the fact that they're able to do it on one of the biggest properties that is technically more successful now because of, like, the changes they've made and all that stuff, then, like, this is a good time to form that union when they have bargaining power, you know? So yeah, that is good to see. I'm excited to see where this goes. Just like I'm excited about Giantbomb coming back. Do you know Giantbomb?
I have heard of them.
Okay.
I don't keep up with their stuff, but I know they're pretty big in the gaming generalist stuff.
Okay.
Or side of the internet.
Yeah, I mean, Giantbomb is a pretty big, like, gaming news platform. They have a podcast and all that stuff. So earlier in this month, essentially, they were actually shut down because they were owned by Fandom, and Fandom essentially was like, well, the details aren't out, but essentially it's like they, Giantbomb kind of like, let me see here. Hold on, let me pull it up. Make sure I get this right.
I think the Fandom basically said they're gonna do a strategic reset and realignment of our media brand.
Oh yeah, so it's probably what happens is one of those things where Fandom's like, make it more family friendly, and then they said no, that's not our brand, and they're like, do it, and they said no, and then they shut them down because they weren't listening. And so what's happening now is, great story, breaking news like today, Giantbomb is now 100% independent as reported by Giantbomb. They're like, hey, we're back, we're just gonna do our own thing, screw that big company. Yeah, I mean that's dope. I'm here for it.
It's nice that people are getting back their own stuff. Like I think there was like a trend over the years where like people like a media conglomerate drops and then people come back and then it resurfaces under them. It's good to see. Same thing happened with Game Informer, which is good. I'm glad to see that it's happening here. So
yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think it's one of those things where it's good to see that they're able to just be like, hey, like, screw you, we're back. Because the thing is, if it's a team of people that make the podcast and everything like that, and they had the skill set before they were acquired, they could just do their own thing. But hey, like, it's the same people, different name, and we'll go from there, you know? Yeah, I mean, that's awesome. And I'm glad to see that they're back and more reputable source as always. But yeah, that's it for the news. I mean, do you have anything that you want to say? Anything you want the people to know about?
I mean, I don't have any closing remarks at the moment. I'm gonna be honest with you. What
are you gonna play next?
I'm gonna play either Blueprints or Clear Obscure. I don't know. I feel like I want to play Blueprints just to. Oh wait, let me ask you a question. Does Blueprints do the puzzles build on top of each other? Like if I play it now and then I take a 2-week break and I come back, am I gonna be like, what the hell? Or is it relatively easy to kind of be like, okay, I know a puzzle that, like, are the puzzles kind of segmented?
No, they all go off of each other.
And is there any ways to get the clues back after?
You need to take notes. That's
okay. I mean, I will take notes, but like, let's say like if I finish like run 1, and on run 10, can I get information back from run 1? Like, or like in subsequent runs, I guess maybe the question.
There is no puzzles that persist through the runs except for permanent upgrades that you get.
Okay, so that's fine. I don't care. So as long as I can come back to it, that's the main.
Yeah, you can come back to it for sure. Yeah, easily. Yeah, but just letting you know that, yeah, if you take notes, make sure you do a lot of it, because if you don't, you're gonna be like, oh shit, where was I, and all that stuff. So, you know,
dude, I'm about to be freaking Winston, bro. The way I'm just caveman with the glasses. Honestly, sophisticated monkey is what I'm going for, man.
Dude, let me know, because I would love to see you do this quickly, or rather try to go through it as quickly as you can, because you know, it's intense.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So no closing remarks from me. I'm gonna be playing more Clair Obscure and Oblivion, and I will also be jumping into some more sim racing as well. So yeah, nothing other than that. Thank you guys for listening. We will do,
real quick.
Yeah.
Someone said it's so French that the game is called Clair Obscure. How can something be clear and obscure at the same time?
Yeah, salam. Good point.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Yeah.
I have to go pee, actually.
Okay, well, take the mic with you, and yeah, that concludes the show.
That's crazy.
Thank you guys for listening. Have a good one.